in Bristol, Tennessee. Here's another look at that knockdown early in the first round as Kenny Smith put Ishmael Muhammad on the canvas.
Straight right hand, high off the head, caused him to wobble, made him go down. Not a solid punch, but it did the damage.
Back to live action now. Muhammad in the red trunks, Kenny Smith in the silver. Ooh, that one jerked Smith's head back. Good left hand from Muhammad.
Muhammad's effective when he gets him close, but when he stays outside, he can get hit by a left hand and a right hand for that matter. He has to just keep moving and just try and tie up Kenny.
Muhammad has an interesting background for a fighter. Comes from a family with 7 sisters.
Kenny Smith is so controlled. He's not wasting a lot of energy.
As a look at our first fist backs of the night. Kenny Smith with the advantage in both punches thrown and landed in the first round. Smith pretty much driving the action thus far.
Turning into phone booth warfare. You don't really need this big ring. They're just staying right in the center. Just trying to get that one shot in there. Both guys are open for a right uppercut. It's just that their angle is not the right one to throw it. They need to step back just a little bit after they throw a left jab.
Muhammad dropping his guard a bit.
Which means if Kenny can throw a left hook, he can do some damage.
Ooh, getting a wild there, and Muhammad takes some punishment. This ring has an interesting history here at the Bristol Sports Arena. It was used in the 1988 Seoul Olympics. Let's take a look at how you scored that first round, Tony.
I didn't really give it 10-8 on the knockdown because it wasn't a really solid knockdown. He just seemed to lose his balance, but I'll give it a 10-9.
I'll agree with that. Well, Gary Hebert calls time.
That's an old trick for some fighters. When you're not having your way, you just about lose your mouthpiece. Just doesn't stay in.
Well, he doesn't give Muhammad too much time.
There was that left hook.
Solid, and now Muhammad is looking to tie him up.
When Kenny gets busy and starts throwing punches, it's damaging. When Muhammad gets busy, it's flurries and pity-pat punches. It's not big, bruising punches, which is going to work to his disadvantage. He should be moving around using his jab, but he's not. He's starting to get worn down by Kenny Smith.
Man, relatively young. Kenny Smith is 25 years old. Ishmael Muhammad is just 23.
I thought he was 35, and he got very upset when I asked him was that his right age. He made sure I knew he was 25.
Back live at Bristol Sports Arena. Bob Barsha and Tony Page with you. Here's a look at that flurry in round 2.
Kenny Smith just came on, picked his shots, threw a good left hook in there, just kept throwing punches. Muhammad had nothing to answer with.
So we begin round 3 of 8 scheduled.
Smith just keeps missing that right hand as Muhammad ducks under it. I keep saying that uppercut just might work.
Ooh. And Muhammad looking active again.
But it's wasting energy. He's just dancing, moving around. There's nothing behind his punches at this point.
Ooh. Kenny Smith backs away from a big punch there.
You got to remember, if you sparred with Mike Tyson, and you want to earn your money, you hang in there.
Fist backs from round 2. Cumulative totals now. As you can see, a more active round than round 1 was. Once again, the advantage to Kenny Smith.
I don't know if you can see Muhammad's mouth, but it's open and the mouthpiece is coming down off the top teeth. It's not really in there strong. It means he's sucking wind a little bit.
And that could cause damage if he takes one firmly on the chin.
Exactly. What Smith should be trying to do, when you see a fighter suck and win like that, you start working on the body. Because if you tap him to the face, he's going to drop the mouthpiece again to buy some time. This is Smith's fight right now. It seems like Muhammad is falling into his trap. Just staying right in front of him, let him throw better inside punches.
Muhammad has been fighting backing up for most of this round. Both fighters looking for the killer punch now.
Muhammad doubles up on his punches, but there's no steam behind it. If the fight continues like this, Smith wins an easy decision. Smith is using his weight to lean on him, to wear him down, and he's trying to get a little angle so he can wing a left hand in there, or again, the uppercut.
Muhammad appears to be in danger of losing his protection.
And his trunk.
That too. The sting seems to be gone completely from Muhammad's punches.
Sometimes, no matter how good you think you are in a fight, when you know you can't win, it's survival.
There goes the mouthpiece again, and a big right hand from Kenny Smith. Down to the closing moments. Back live at Bristol Sports Arena. Fight action coming your way tonight on ESPN2. Spend an hour with the Babe and your life will never be the same. ESPN Radio's one and only fabulous sports Babe has a TV show of her own Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Back in the ring at Bristol Sports Arena, Kenny Smith in the silver trunks with the black trim against Ishmael Muhammad. This is round 4.
Muhammad is trying. He keeps trying to throw punches, try to smother Kenny. Kenny's having a little trouble just landing the one decent punch, but when Kenny stays busy, he lands. The jab always works in this fight. The more you throw, the better. I got Smith winning all the rounds, 30-27.
I'll agree with that. And Muhammad begins to force the action a little bit.
Get the feeling just watching Kenny Smith sit there, he could go probably 15, 20 rounds because he just knows how to control his action.
Let's look at our fist facts. Let me correct myself. I think I said they were cumulative. They are not cumulative. By the round, you see that Ishmael Muhammad in round 3 threw more punches but landed fewer. And in Kenny Smith's corner, trainer Wes Ramey is telling him to take his time.
What did you say about Muhammad? He's crafty. It seems every time Kenny throws that left, Muhammad ducks under it. Again, his punches have no power. If Kenny Smith would just take his time, work the left jab, and come behind it with the right, I think he could do some damage. Kenny's corner yelled out, you need room to punch. That's exactly right. Step backs, you can use your jab and then drop the right hand.
They're beginning to use the left again.
And the uppercut. Sometimes you can get a spectacular knockout in situations like this because you're just flurrying and all of a sudden you get caught with a wild punch.
40 seconds remaining in round 4, approaching the halfway mark in this scheduled 8-round fight.
Just looking at Muhammad's eyes, you can see he's trying to figure out what strategy can I use now because inside's not working, outside's not working. Kenny Smith is the same fighter, just pounding away.
Lancing left hand there from Kenny Smith. The crowd beginning to get into the fight. This is a purpose-built boxing arena in Bristol, Tennessee, and a great place for a prize fight. Coming down to the end of round 4. We'll be back live to Bristol. Back live in the Bristol Sports Arena. Let's take a look at one of the highlights of round 4.
Kenny Smith throws some good right uppercuts, and that was one of them. He's just pounding the body, working the head. Smith's in command right now.
Back to live action. Ishmael Muhammad in the red trunks.
Between rounds, Kenny Smith was very calm and collected on his stool, wasn't breathing too hard. Muhammad had problems breathing. They were pulling his protector out to get some air, but he doesn't have a second win now.
He took some hard body shots from Kenny Smith right there. And now the crowd getting behind the local favorite.
Well, the funny thing about Muhammad's protector, his cup protector, it's not even tight when it's tied in the back, so he's trying to get air in, but he could lose it if somebody doesn't make it a little tighter.
You bet he could.
We don't need to see that on the deuce.
Or anywhere else. Well, the pace of the offense slows again.
Well, Kenny flurried early and basically can win the round by doing that because Muhammad's not going to do much.
Once again, Kenny Smith dominating the punches landed. Ishmael Muhammad taking some punishment here.
He's getting more busy, Bob. With 4 punches he landed last round, 5 in this one.
Referee is Gary Hebert. Muhammad lands some punches there.
Again, no steam behind him because he seems to have lost his energy in the earlier rounds. But you give that to Kenny Smith for wearing him down with his punches. He was more busy, more accurate.
Well, when you've sparred with Mike Tyson, I would imagine any kind of punch is a step down.
I still got Smith winning every round, 40-36. Some may have had it 40-35, but like I said, I gave 9 points instead of 8 for that knockdown because it was kind of a glancing blow, a bit of a slip.
Now, Kenny Smith has to start thinking about his reputation somewhere along here. He needs to dominate. Ishmael Muhammad has an undefeated record of 4-0 on the line here.
Both of Muhammad's hands are down, so he's open for either kind of a left hook, right hand. Smith working the left jab, trying to find that range to drop the 1 punch that could end this fight.
Less than 30 seconds remaining. Muhammad picked off that right hand with his glove.
If you're going to clinch, grab him. Just don't put your hands around him. This isn't a dance match, and you get hit with a right uppercut.
That'll do it for round 5. We'll be back to Bristol. We're back live at the Bristol Sports Arena. We want you to make note of some upcoming fight action on ESPN, the mother network. Top-ranked boxing. 10 rounds of heavyweight battling between Shannon Briggs and Sherman Griffin. And then an 8-round heavyweight fight between Michael Grant and Stanley Wright, who holds the distinction of handing Peter McNeely his only loss before McNeely met Mike Tyson. Friday, September 22nd at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're back to live action here at the Bristol Sports Arena. Bob Varsha along with Tony Page.
Kenny Smith seems like he got a second win, but he's been doing that the last couple of rounds, coming out early, busy, winning the round, and that's it.
Well, Gary Hebert is going to send
a little bit of a low blow.
I thought Kenny Smith might have been ghosting that one, but apparently Gary Hebert, the referee, thought otherwise. The action has plateaued just a bit. Wes Ramey, Kenny Smith's trainer, was in his face during the break.
Muhammad continues to land more punches. Up to 9 now.
Oh, facetious one.
I can see why Wes Ramey is yelling at him because he's dominated. He's won everything. This is the type of fight. Now you got to go for the knockout because that's how you get to the next level.
Well, that was to be my point exactly. For all those punches that Kenny Smith has landed, Ishmael Muhammad is in remarkably good shape. So there must not be an awful lot of sting to those punches.
Or maybe Ishmael Muhammad can take a punch. Still have Smith ahead, 50-45. He's won all the rounds. You would think Ishmael Muhammad at this point would say, I know I'm behind, I'm not doing anything, let me just open it all and throw everything I got. One last offensive. But nothing's coming out of him right now.
We are in round 6 with 2 more remaining. Either fighter seems to be able to take advantage. Kenny Smith in particular, when he moves Muhammad back, just doesn't seem to be able to follow up.
I mean, Kenny is helping himself because people see a fighter that keeps coming forward, keeps throwing punches, hasn't really been hit. But now you wonder, is the power there? Crowd's getting behind it.
They love to see those punches thrown from a long distance. There goes the mouthpiece again.
Sometimes they can disqualify you if you just keep doing it to catch a rest.
Once again, Gary Hebert has called time. Actually, I don't think he called it, but I think the timekeeper went ahead and did it anyway because I noticed that the clock has stopped. And now we resume. Now Kenny Smith has an open target. Muhammad offering very little defense.
I was wondering if the referee was going to stop in, but his eyes are still clear. He's not really getting tagged solidly. That was a good shot.
Back live at Bristol Sports Arena, ready for round 7 of 8 scheduled between heavyweights Ishmael Muhammad and that man right there, Kenny Smith.
The referee said, please pull up your trunks. I am very much relieved.
Yes, indeed.
They've been dumping a lot of water on Ishmael. I don't know if it's going to do any good.
Muhammad comes out with a flurry. Kenny Smith on our unofficial card, way out in front on points.
That guy is a shutout.
Once again, Muhammad fighting with his guard very low. And now the crowd chanting for Kenny Smith.
I'd like to see Kenny Smith in against somebody who really comes to fight, put some pressure on him. Might be a good scrap. I thought it'd be a little bit better because I thought Muhammad was going to do more, but I think he can't figure out Kenny Smith.
Well, it figured that folks would look at this fight, watch Kenny Smith in action, knowing he went the 10 full rounds with Buster Mathis Jr. It would tell you whether Mathis is going to have anything for Mike Tyson.
Still have Smith ahead, 60-54, all around for Kenny Smith. No more movement out of Muhammad. He was busy jumping around in the early rounds. I think the body punches and the head punches have worn him down, that he's just trying to survive the fight.
No marks on either fighter. Very little swelling, too. This backs in round 6. Muhammad with the advantage once again in punches thrown. And Kenny Smith, the more accurate fighter. Now Muhammad trying a little long-range offense.
That right hand was his best punch of the night. Didn't do much damage, but it landed right on the button.
I think Kenny Smith was thinking right hand, but he caught a punch from Muhammad on it and wasn't able to bring it in.
He has been picking off quite a few punches. A little high off the head, but nothing like in the first round where he went down. Now see, now Muhammad's making Kenny fight. He's applying some pressure, but he hasn't been doing that enough during the bout. might have our first round for Ishmael Muhammad as he drops his mouthpiece for, I guess, the 4th or 5th time.
I believe it's happened once in every round thus far. Have you ever seen a fighter penalized for losing that too much? We'll be back. Back live at the Bristol Sports Arena. Another program note for you. Friday, September 22nd, we'll have Goodies 500 pole qualifying at 3 p.m. Eastern Time live on ESPN2. And then on Sunday, the Goodies 500 at 12:40 p.m. Eastern live. Jeff Gordon won today's MBNA 500 and added a little bit to his points lead. Watch for the Goodies 500 on ESPN, qualifying on ESPN2. Final round for Kenny Smith and Ishmael Muhammad.
Up on his toes is Kenny Smith, using his left hand. Just missed the right again.
Both fighters with something to prove now and running out of time to prove it.
Kenny Smith has a good left jab. He just doesn't use it enough.
Now Wes Ramey in Kenny Smith's corner telling him to pump that jab.
If Kenny Smith could just throw like 3 or 4 straight left jabs, I'm sure he'd catch Muhammad with every single one. And that sets him up for the right hand.
Well, the fight may go to Kenny Smith. In fact, it almost certainly will, unless something extraordinary happens in the last 145. But you have to give Ishmael Muhammad credit. He has really taken some punishment.
He came to fight. He doesn't have the arsenal to compete with a Kenny Smith. Kenny Smith shows some good left jabs. Just wish I'd seen some more of them.
The trend we've seen through the entire fight. Muhammad throwing more punches, Smith landing more. Well, now Kenny Smith really weighing in.
Good left, good right. Like I said earlier, Kenny Smith could go another 10 rounds at the rate this fight is going.
Less than a minute to go.
Kenny's corner keeps yelling at him to throw that jab, but by the time he gets ready to throw it, Muhammad is already inside the range, and it doesn't make sense to throw a jab.
Coming up on the last 30 seconds of the bout.
I think it's safe to say it's a win for Kenny Smith.
Now Smith with another flurry, landing punches to the head of Ishmael Muhammad. 20 seconds to go. Now Muhammad trying to retaliate. But I think he has just about run out of gas. Coming down to the end of the fight, we'll be back with the expected decision in just a moment. Back at Bristol Sports Arena, we are ready for the decision. Ring announcer Thomas Treiber collecting the cards from the judges. Meanwhile, Tony Page in the ring, ready to talk with our winner. And you can tell from the crowd here at Bristol Sports Arena just who they think won that fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we go to the scorecards after 8 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Judge Michael Greenwell scores this bout 80-71. Judge Charles Arnold scores this bout 80-72. And Judge Johnny Robertson scores this bout 79-72. In favor of your winner, Kenny Smith.
And so Kenny Smith ups his record to 12-4, but I suspect he didn't get quite the fight he wanted. Let's get up to Tony Page.
Kenny, you were throwing a tremendous left jab. Your corner kept saying throw it more. What was the problem? You didn't seem to throw it as much.
Well, he was ducking a lot, man, and I thought I couldn't get it in. You know, what my trainer kept on saying throw it, you know, and I was trying to, but he kept on throwing it off. So I was going to see if I could drop a right hand. I dropped a couple couple good ones in there, but he was very strong. I thought he was going to tire out, you know, but he didn't tire out like I thought he would.
Good fight for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Let's go back to ringside and Bob Varsha.
All right, thank you, Tony. In just a couple of moments, our main event of the evening. 12 rounds among cruiserweights for the vacant WBF World Championship. We'll have Holsey Ellingburg from Kansas City, Missouri, and Jay Snyder from Spartanburg, South Carolina. The Midwestern Matador against the Swamp Monster, coming up live from Bristol, Tennessee. And Tony Page, I suspect Kenny got more fight than he expected.
It was a good fight for him. It was a good workout. He showed he has some ability. He showed a good left jab. As he said, his corner kept telling him to throw it more. He should have. But he's got a bit of a future. He showed he can go 10 strong rounds.
Here's another program note. College football coming your way on ESPN. The North Carolina Tar Heels will travel to Cardinal Stadium in Louisville to take on the Cardinals Thursday, September 21st, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live here on ESPN. Once again, note that date, Thursday, September 21st, from Cardinal Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky, North Carolina against Louisville. Now let's get back up to ring announcer Thomas Schreiber to introduce our main event.
Ladies and gentlemen, ESPN2 and the WBF present our featured bout of the evening. This bout is for the vacant WBF World Cruiserweight title and is scheduled for 12 rounds. It is sanctioned by the Tennessee State Athletic Commission and the WBF Larry Carrier Chairman, Ron Scalf President. John Hopkins, Executive Director. Commissioners are Jerry Hodge and Marshall Buckner. The physician is Dr. Daniel Paul, and keeping the time is our timekeeper, Harold Cross. Our judges are Charles Arnold, Johnny Robinson, and Mike Greenwell. The man in charge of the action will be referee Deacon Bowers. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you the principals. First of all, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the maroon trunks and weighed in at 190 pounds. He has 9 wins with 2 losses and hails from Kansas City, Missouri. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Holsey, the Midwestern Matador, Ellingburg. And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent fighting directly across from him out of the blue corner. He's wearing the red trunks with the black trim. He weighed in at 188 pounds and is undefeated with 18 wins. Hailing from Spartanburg, South Carolina, please welcome Jay Snyder. Once again, here's your referee, Deacon Bowers, with the instructions.
Okay, man, listen, you've had your instructions in the dressing rooms, okay? I want you to obey my commands. Protect yourselves at all times. Shake hands. Shake hands. Good luck to both of you.
Well, I think the reaction of the crowd told you everything you need to know about who's behind whom out here. Jay Snyder had 2 busloads of fans make the drive from Spartanburg, South Carolina, to cheer him to a possible world title tonight. And we're going to be looking for that power you talked about, Tony.
Snyder said he was going right at him. He'd see what he has. A little bit of a height differential. Snyder's 5'8", Ellingburg 5'11". 3 good left hooks by Ellingburg. He's just pouring all the pressure on. He's using his height for good leverage, landing good right hands. Snyder's going to have to keep his range a little bit or get inside. But you get inside, you throw punches.
Another left hand from Ellingburg, who has sent an early wake-up call to Jay Snyder.
Tremendous right hand. He measured him with the left, brought it right behind it. You can already see Snyder's changing his tactics. He's not going right at him. He's trying to get inside that left hand before he gets whacked. Jay Snyder cannot stay outside. If he stays outside, Ellingburg is going to pick him apart with left and right, and he's hurt now.
Deacon Bowers in there immediately. And no question, Jay Snyder has been hurt. A big cut now over his left eye, bleeding pretty heavily, as you see.
He's stopping it.
Deacon Bowers has stopped the fight. And Holsey Ellingburg picks up the WBF Cruiserweight Championship just like that. Now that is an astonishing turn of events. On paper, Jay Snyder was the favorite coming into this fight, but Holsey Ellingburg fought a furious pace from the beginning, and at 1:35 of the round opened that big cut over Jay Snyder's left eye, and that was all Deacon Bowers, the referee, had to see. As Tony mentioned, Ellingburg just measuring Jay Snyder, and as you see, he was virtually out on his feet at that point. A mild protest from Jay Snyder when Deacon Bowers stopped the fight, but I emphasize mild. There you see them working on Snyder. And it must be a tremendous disappointment for the father of two from Spartanburg. Let's go up to Thomas Trieber.
We have the official time of 1 minute 35 seconds of the first round. Referee Deacon Bowers calls a halt to this bout with your winner by technical knockout and new WBF World Cruiserweight Champion, Holsey, the Midwestern Manager, Ellingburg.
And so Holsey Ellingburg, with Ron Scalf, president of the WBF, picks up his first title belt, and Tony Page is with him.
We are here with the new WBF Cruiserweight Champion. How does it feel?
Feels great. First of all, I'd like to give thanks to the Almighty, Mr. Peyton Shears, Mr. Robert Nix, my mother, and everybody back home in Kansas City. I did it.
You had a look on your face that you weren't being intimidated. You worked that left jab to measure him, and then you went to business.
Yeah. He just come straight to me. I knew I was gonna knock him out. He's coming right at me, you know, and he didn't have nothing in his guns.
It seems
He
like
had nothing.
he started the flurry on you. You covered up, then you used the left jab and picked him apart.
That's true. That's true. But I believe my left hook was the deciding punches of the fight, you know. But you know, he got a good heart, big heart. But you know, I just was determined, and I wanted this, and I got it.
I thought the right hand did it.
He
I
swarmed.
hit him with a good right hand too.
He swarmed on you. You hurt him, and then he stopped coming in.
Yeah, well, he felt my power. You know, I have a great punching power, and he felt it, and I knew he would feel it. I had no problem when he came in at 180. I knew he wouldn't be able to whoop me. He wouldn't be able to, I knew I was going to knock him out.
So you're going to wear this belt for a while, huh?
I'm ready for anything, anybody.
All right.
Come one, come all.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Let's go back to ringside.
ESPN too as well.
You heard that, guys. Back to Bob.
Same back at you. Holsey, the new WBF Cruiserweight Champion, and from the looks of that fight, he is ready for anybody. There is Jay Snyder back on his feet, and that is good to see. A disappointing evening for him. Plenty of live boxing action still to come your way from the Bristol Sports Arena. Stand by. Back live at the Bristol Sports Arena. Our next fight being set up, and this will offer us an opportunity to watch Ramblin' Ricky Wall in action.
A lot of talent in this young man. Only 21 years old. A heck of a featherweight prospect.
He'll be going up against Kevin Sandlin from Walden's, Kentucky, whose career is basically written on his face. If there was ever a man with the face of a fighter, it is Kevin Sandlin.
I couldn't have said that any better.
Now let's go to ring announcer Thomas Trieber.
Ladies and gentlemen, we continue with more exciting boxing action on ESPN2. This bout is scheduled for 10 rounds in the featherweight division. Your referee in charge of the action is Wayne Stoffel. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the black trunks, trimmed in gold, and weighed in at 121 pounds. He has 5 wins with just 1 defeat and hails from Walton, Kentucky. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kevin Sandlin. And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent fighting directly across from him out of the blue corner. He's wearing the blue trunks with the gold trim. He weighed in at a ready 124 pounds and has 8 wins with just 1 setback. Hailing from Pulaski, Virginia, please welcome Ricky Wall. Once again, here's your referee, Wayne Stoffel, with the instructions.
Okay, gentlemen, y'all had your instructions in the dressing room. Y'all obey my commands at all times. Touch glove.
The man who calls himself the Taz Devil, Kevin Sandlin from Walden's, Kentucky. Ricky Wall, a law enforcement officer in his daily life, makes a weekly drive of more than 180 miles to train right here in Bristol, Tennessee with Wes Ramey. In fact, he makes that drive more than once a week.
That's called dedication. He's trying to learn his sport, learn his craft. Ricky told me he may try some counter-punching in this fight, but his style is usually to go right at him. And there he goes.
Kevin Sandlin lists his age as 34 years, although there are many around ringside who suspect he's a bit older than that. Meanwhile, Ricky Wall is a true 21 years of age with more than 120 amateur fights, including more than 100 victories on his resume.
Ricky Wall is slick for 21 years old. He knows how to duck punches. He knows how to counter. He's got that eye where he's just focused right on you and nothing else.
Sandlin tries to take the fight to Ricky Wall.
Sandlin said his idol is Roberto Duran. I don't know if he means as the lightweight or as the sumo wrestler.
Sandlin carrying that punch low, and Ricky Wall right there with a left hand.
You make a mistake on Ricky Wall, he is going to take advantage.
A former runner-up in the Junior World Championships as an amateur. You don't get too many mistakes against Ricky Wall. He has fought since he was 8 years old. Kevin Sandlin, for his part, was a 1981 Golden Gloves runner-up. Turned pro in 1982. He's been doing this a long time.
Just look at Ricky Wall. He is controlled, keeps his hands up, good defensive posture, keeps moving, but he uses his movement with punches behind it. Little clash of heads there.
Referee Wayne Stoffel warns Sandlin about punching low.
Sandlin is winging his punches. He's going to get caught by a straight punch if Ricky gets off first.
There is some of the speed of Ricky Wall. Sandlin giving him a heck of a fight. Wall picking off punches, counter-punching when he can. Sandlin forcing the action. Coming down to the end of round one. An action-packed fight appears to be in prospect. Back at Bristol, Tennessee, here's a look at some of the action of round one.
Watch Wall counter. Gets hit. Still keeps throwing punches. There's the right hand.
Ricky Wall in the blue trunks with yellow trim against Kevin Sandlin in the black trunks.
The one thing Ricky should be doing is throwing that left jab out because Sandlin is rushing in behind his punches. You want to keep him away from you.
Wall moving both to his left and his right. Fist backs from the first round. Ricky Wall throwing more punches and landing more, but only marginally. A good first round.
Sandlin is gambling on every shot to try and knock him out. Ricky's picking his time, slowly moving in, and then trying to come with the left. Sandlin keeps trying to wind up and really cork an uppercut. That's how you get caught. It's a punch that takes a long time to get there. This is the Ricky Wall I like, when he starts to flurry.
Sandlin still looking for that right hand.
He's still dangerous. He's trying to lull him in and then counter with a right uppercut. But he's starting to get tattooed a bit. Wall's taking a good shot also, but he's wearing his man down.
I was about to say, he has taken some punches.
Let's see if Ricky can finish him, because he's got him a little bit on Queer Street.
The crowd is on its feet, including Ricky Wall's wife, Jeanette, who attends all of his bouts.
I gave Wall the first round.
What a well-fought round it was.
It was close. It was close. Sandlin's also having a bad hair day. His hair is all over the place, but he's getting nailed by Ricky Wall.
He wears the Tasmanian Devil cartoon character and the phrase "no fear" on his trunks. I wonder if Sandlin feels quite that way right now.
Standing 8 count. Sandlin is trying to gamble, but you can't gamble with your back against the ropes. You can't get your punches going.
There goes that big right hand again from Sandlin. Now Wall beginning to slip a little bit on that rosin that I mentioned earlier. Seems to be having trouble keeping his feet. Without a place to stand, it's got to be hard to punch.
I was in the ring. It's a little slippery. I didn't see anybody step in the rosin pan.
Ooh, Sandlin beginning to lose enthusiasm here.
Another standing 8.
We're in the second round. Back at Bristol, ready for round number 3. But here's a look at Ricky Wall taking control of this fight.
He landed at will. This was target practice after a while.
This flurry resulted in the second standing 8 count of the round for Kevin Sandlin. And now we begin round 3 live.
I scored that round 10-7 because of 2 standing 8s and the fact that Ricky Wall just dominated. If you look at Sandlin's face, it's starting to rip apart. He can't hope to win throwing that wild uppercut over and over from long range. Ricky's just sitting back, picking him apart, and when he gets inside, he does a lot of damage like that left hook.
Big left hand from Ricky Wall, and once again, he could pretty much draw a bead on Kevin Sandlin, trying to show a little fight. As you can see, he has been hit everywhere you can be hit. Big counter punches from Ricky Wall.
And look at Ricky's punches. They're all compact, short, no long looping punches. He's doing a job right now. I hope young featherweights are watching this. This is how you do it.
A strong left hand. And Sandlin is in trouble again.
Don't know how much longer it's going to go because he's not responding. The ref could step in and stop it.
Every time Sandlin drops his guard, there's a punch right there from Ricky Wall.
It's target practice. This should be stopped.
Wayne Stoffel steps back in. It'll be another standing 8 count, the third of the fight. You look at the fist backs from round 2. Look at the barrage from Ricky Wall.
And that's it.
That is all for Kevin Sandlin. Ricky Wall with an absolutely dominant display. Wes Ramey there to congratulate him at 1:23 of the 3rd round. Remember the name Ricky Wall. Once again tonight, he has proven that he is a talent. Here are the closing moments of the fight as far as Kevin Sandlin was concerned. Ricky Wall landing punches at will before referee Wayne Stoffel brought it to an end. Now up in the ring, we're ready for the decision. Here's Thomas Treiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the official time at 1 minute 23 seconds of the 3rd round. Referee Wayne Stoffel brings this bout to a halt with your winner by technical knockout, Ricky Wall.
So Ricky Wall puts another one in the win column. Here's Tony with him.
Ricky, I see champion written all over you. You're controlled. You don't seem to lose focus. What's the key to you?
Well, training. He's taught me a lot.
This guy was throwing punches from all angles. He tried to catch you with that wild right uppercut.
Right.
But you seemed just to stay focused and stay controlled.
Yeah, I started seeing him cogging. I would take a step back and then come right in with a right hand or a left hook. And I was catching him just about every time.
Did he hurt you at all?
One time to the body. It really didn't hurt. It caught me. Knocked bread just a little bit out of me. I was fine.
You're 21 years old.
21.
What's your timetable? What do you want to do down the road?
A couple more fights. I can step on and fight a title fight. I'm ranked number 20 right now in the WBF. Hopefully after this fight, move on up in the rankings. Get a shot at the title later on.
I predict you're going to be a champion. You got everything there.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Rapid Robert Varsha at ringside.
All right, thank you, Tony. He drives a patrol car by day, but I think you can tell Ricky Wall's future is in the ring. Here's another look at him taking absolute control of a game fighter in Kevin Sandlin. And at this point, it was basically Ricky's fight to walk away from. The question was whether Sandlin would hit the canvas. It never happened because referee Wayne Stoffel was in there to stop the fight 3 separate times and administer the standing 8 count. All in all, a great effort by Ricky Wall. Are you surprised he's not ranked higher, Tony?
No, I guess when he doesn't have 10 fights yet. He's still learning his craft. He's not fighting the guys that other people recognize. But the way he goes about himself, the way he carries himself in the ring, he shows a lot of talent, a lot of potential. The WBF has a future champion on their hands. This kid is the real deal. I just want to keep watching him as he finally gets to 10-round fights, fights a 12-rounder, fights different types of opponents. This is what the sport needs. Young talent, guys who are prepared. He doesn't look wild in there. He follows his corner's direction. I like the kid.
No question about it. We expect a lot of action from smaller fighters. Ricky Wall is a name to remember. If you're a fight fan, we want to remind you once again, Top Rank Boxing coming up on ESPN Friday, September 22nd at 9 p.m. Eastern Time live from Lewiston, Maine. Shannon Briggs will go up against Sherman Griffin in a 10-round heavyweight battle, followed by another pair of heavyweights for 8 rounds. Michael Grant against Stanley Wright. And as mentioned earlier, only he and Mike Tyson have beaten Peter McNeely, which is one way to look at it, I suppose.
What a trivia question.
No question about it. On ESPN, great top-ranked boxing coming your way Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, here on, or there on ESPN. We are on ESPN2. We are live from Bristol, Tennessee, and we are ready for our next pair of fighters. Once again, here's ring announcer Thomas Schreiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next bout of the evening is scheduled for 8 rounds in the Cruiserweight division. Your referee in charge of the action is Deacon Bowers. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the black trunks, trimmed in white, and weighed in at 188 pounds. He has 18 wins with 8 losses and hails from Cincinnati, Ohio. Here's Paris, the Ghost Johnson. And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent fighting directly across from him out of the blue corner. He's wearing the solid white trunks and weighed in at 195 pounds. He has 11 wins with just 2 losses and hails from Morristown, Tennessee. Here's Chavez Francisco. Once again, here's your referee, Deacon Bowers, with the instructions.
Okay, gentlemen, listen, you had your instructions in the dressing room. I want you to obey my commands. Protect yourselves at all times. Shake hands. Shake hands. Good luck to both of you.
This is our first look at Paris, the Ghost Johnson. We've watched Chavez Francisco here on ESPN2 before. Paris considers himself the Ghost because when they swing at me, I'm not there.
He also told me his style is a cross between former heavyweight champ Ezzard Charles and former heavyweight champ Ken Norton. A strange mix.
Chavez Francisco, the taller man, very long-legged. punches down on Paris Johnson.
He has the look of a boxer. He's tall. He has a good left hand when he can get his fighter off from to use it. He's another fighter that holds his own. Chavez Francisco does a workman-like job. He's well trained when he's in there.
Francisco comes right in on the 195 weight limit. 10 pounds on Paris Johnson.
This is a fight where somebody has to establish a left jab, because if you're going to hit and hold, the referee's going to be busy all night.
Scattered boo from the audience, and I think they may be getting the warning that you were talking about right now.
You got to put a stop to it right off the bat, or you'll have a whole bunch of rounds.
Deacon Bowers, a respected WBF official, has refereed dozens of title bouts. We asked Paris Johnson before the fight about his offensive style. Here's what he told us.
My offense is, I bring in a good jab, hard left hook, nice right hand. I'm strong, so I try to stay inside and fight. I like to stay there and stay inside the war zone and don't waste no time running. I mean, if it's going to last, it's going to last. If it's not, it's not.
I can't argue with that. He stays in the war zone. We haven't seen a whole lot of that left hand.
No, not at all. He's inside, though, like he said, but when you get inside, you got to learn how to throw those punches.
Chavez Francisco's corner telling him to throw combinations.
He needs to set himself. He's throwing his left and following his right in by moving in, and you have to just set your feet.
While Paris Johnson's corner telling him to move. They say you're standing. The two continue to grapple.
I think the referee's going to earn his pay tonight at this rate.
Now Francisco beginning to measure his opponent, throw some punches. Coming down to the end of the first round. We'll be back live to Bristol. We are back live at the Bristol Sports Arena. Bob Barsha and Tony Page. Glad to have you with us on this Sunday night. World Boxing Federation prize fights. Chavez Francisco and Paris Johnson. There is Johnson, cornerman Terry O'Brien, working on his man. Chavez Francisco stood during much of his 1-minute break. And the grappling continues.
Chavez said every fight is a big fight for him. He seems a little nervous because, like I said earlier, he's throwing that left jab, but when he throws the right behind it, he's moving his body forward, and that's you gotta plant yourself.
Now what is this?
First and 10, I think.
Really? Well, referee Deacon Bowers will remind both men this is boxing, not wrestling.
And the Ghost is not living up to his nickname.
Ooh, he took a punch.
And went down.
And down he went.
He's there instead of being not there.
He has not been ephemeral this evening.
No Casper, he.
A little surprised that Chavez Francisco hasn't been punching from a little further away. For a man with that advantage in height and reach.
That jab can be I don't think that's a knockdown. It kind of flung him down.
Yeah, Johnson was holding on to Chavez Francisco's left arm, and Francisco basically threw him to the mat.
Francisco should be using his jab to set him up, but he's just rushing in. Oh, nice punch.
And that may well be it.
Don't think he's going to make it.
Johnson shaking his head, and that's it. And so Chavez Francisco by a knockout at 150 of the round. Ring doctor Daniel Paul right in there to attend. It appears that Paris Johnson is all right. It can happen so quickly, and tonight it did for Paris Johnson. Our ring announcer, Thomas Stryber, is ready with the official result.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official time, 1 minute, 50 seconds of the second round, with your winner by way of knockout, Chavez Francisco.
12-2 as Francisco, and Tony Page is there with him.
Chavez, you just took your time. He seemed to press you a little bit, but you knew what you had to do.
Well, yeah, he came in holding me and trying to fight dirty and fighting wild, and I kind of got wild the first round, settled in the second round and did what I had to do.
I thought you'd use your left jab. Was he taking it away from you?
No, I hurt my left hand about 2 months ago and it hadn't healed up yet, so I couldn't really throw it like I wanted to.
So then you used the right hand to drop him.
Yeah, I used the right. That's my big punch anyway, it's the right hand. And I'm going back to the doctor to get checked on. By next month, everything will be all right. I'll be ready in about a month.
All right, but at least the right hand's good.
Yeah, my son said I'd get him in the second round. I got little Chavez. So he's right, second round, I had him out of there.
All right, man, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Back to ringside and Bob Washer.
Congratulations to Chavez Francisco from Morristown, Tennessee. We didn't know in advance about that injured left hand. Perhaps the WBF officials did not either. Nevertheless, it didn't seem to hurt him. Let's take another look. See, measuring with the left, and there's the big right, which caught Paris Johnson leaning in, and that was that. As Tony Page mentioned earlier, it doesn't take long. If you're not protecting yourself, one punch can be all it takes.
And I'm impressed. I kept wondering, where's the left hand? He said his hand's injured, so goes to plan B and drops him with a right hand. He's got a, you know, it was funny. When a fighter does something like that, you wonder, you got the range, you have the height, what's wrong? Why aren't you throwing the left? Well, he answered it, but hopefully his hand's all right. But when you can go to plan B and have that kind of power in your right hand, makes up for little injuries.
That says a lot for a fighter. Now, recently, the WBF banned 6- and 8-ounce fight gloves. They mandate 10-ounce gloves in competition. But as Ted Jones found out in speaking with the chairman of the WBF, Larry Carrier, there are fight gloves and then fight gloves. Here's Ted Jones.
You know, the Bristol Boxing Arena is more than meets the eye on television. There are many rooms and chambers here in the Bristol Boxing Arena. I'm back in the glove room, for instance. I'm walking down to the adjacent room, which is an equipment room where they have miscellaneous equipment. This is Larry Carrier, the founder of the WBF. And Larry, they're fighting with 10-ounce gloves out there tonight, but a 10-ounce glove isn't necessarily a 10-ounce glove.
That's right. There's only one company that's come out with a 10-ounce large. This glove here is wider than this glove here. This is the one many of them are using. To show you the padding in it, when you stretch the padding over when you push the padding over the knuckles, where the knuckles would be, you find out that there's more padding in this one than there's this one. Now, this glove here, you can almost touch fingers there.
So it's not necessarily how much padding, it's where it's located.
That's right. And if it's a wider glove with a bigger hand, it don't stretch the padding thin across the knuckles. It's safety for the fighter and also for the opponent.
Now in WBF, you've ruled that a 10-ounce glove is the lightest. What about a 6 or an 8-ounce?
We don't have 6 or 8 ounces. We borrowed them from being used a long time ago, and we haven't had any fatal injuries either.
So the reason is for safety in boxing.
Safety in boxing for both the fighter and for both fighters. On the hands, it's thicker, and you won't get a broken hand, and you won't get a fatal injury.
So they're fighting with 10-ounce gloves in there in the ring tonight, Bob, but a 10-ounce glove isn't necessarily a 10-ounce glove. That is, unless you're fighting WBF.
All right, thank you, Ted. We're just moments from our next fight. We'll have that for you in just a moment as live boxing action continues from the Bristol Sports Arena in Bristol, Tennessee. Stay with us for more here on ESPN2. Back live at the Bristol Sports Arena, Bob Varsha, Tony Page with you. Before we get to our next live bout, let's take a look at that knockout.
Watch Chavez Francisco plant himself and throw the right hand. His right foot is down. That's how you get the leverage to throw a power shot.
And we have another angle on it. Paris Johnson, basically, you see his guard held down. He measured him in.
Right on the side of the head. It just measured him. He threw the punch. And as I said earlier, you can't try and throw a right hand by moving in. You got to brace yourself, get your foot anchored, throw the punch. You most leverage behind it, and then you do the most damage.
Our first knockout of the evening. Now let's get up to our next bout with ring announcer Thomas Trieber.
Ladies and gentlemen, live on ESPN2, we continue with more boxing action. This bout is scheduled for 4 rounds in the junior welterweight division, and your referee in charge of the action will be Gary Hebert. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner, he's wearing the red and gold trunks and weighed in at 139 pounds. He has 1 win with 2 losses and hails from Louisville, Kentucky. Please welcome Chris Wheatley. And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent fighting directly across from him out of the blue corner. He's wearing the solid black trunks and weighed in at 143 pounds. He has 1 win with no losses and hails from Kingsport, Tennessee. Please welcome Jamie Reinhardt. Once again, here's your referee, Gary Hebert, with the instructions.
Okay, you got the directions in the dressing room, right? You got any questions? Okay, obey my commands at all times. Touch up. Good luck.
Well, this should be interesting. A moment ago, we saw 21-year-old Ricky Wall in action. Both of these fighters are 22 years of age, but they look younger than Ricky. And we're ready for round 1.
Let's see if they go right after each other and just let it all fly right here.
Jamie Reinhardt in the black trunks with a height advantage. A substantial one, 6 inches over Chris Wheatley.
Caught him in. Now this is a first. In all my years of watching boxing, I've never seen one where a guy went into the ring without tying his shoelaces.
That might be the Tanya Harding of the prize ring.
Oh no.
Without the stick, of course.
Oh, thank you. And it's dragging again. I'm watching the shoelace. I should be watching the action, but I don't see if he steps on his shoelace. I think at some stage you take a point after the 3rd time. Let's watch the right way how to do this from a professional.
All right, after our second timeout. Ooh, Chris Wheatley walked into one there.
This is going to be a brawl, I can tell. Not much style, just a lot of punches.
Not a lot of finesse here. Both fighters willing to throw punches from any angle off either foot.
Reinhardt has that European stance. Straight up, throw the left jab. Wheatley looks like he just wants to time the left and run in behind it with a flurry of punches.
Reinhardt seems to be leery of Wheatley's left hand. He keeps circling to his left.
He popped him early before the shoelace instance, which seemed to slow him down a little bit. And he's getting caught solid.
Wheatley in the corner, offering no defense, no offense. And Wheatley is hurt.
It's a little bit wobbly.
Standing 8 count from referee Hebert for Chris Wheatley.
His eyes look a little like he doesn't want to be here anymore. Because he can't figure out the tall, lanky Reinhardt.
He's punching with his head down. I can't imagine he can see where he's trying to land a punch. Now he gets
nice right hand.
Now he finds the range. And Reinhardt ties him up.
Most guys, when they duck down, at least they look up. He doesn't seem to be looking up.
With the closing minute of the fight. Wheatley almost went through the ropes that time. He's just not watching where he's going. Seems to be awfully concerned about those punches coming down from above. And that time he connected with the left hand, even though I don't think he knew where he was throwing it.
He's just winging him, hoping that the guy's there when he throws a punch.
I think we got a warning for butting with the head right there. Oh, he right on the button. Left hand. Coming down to the closing moments of the round, and it can't come too soon for Chris Wheatley. Back live in Bristol, Tennessee, one of the Tri-Cities of northeastern Tennessee in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. Here's a look at some of the highlights of the previous round.
That was the highlight for Mr. Wheatley, but he took 2 standing 8 counts and was battered the rest of the fight. I gave it a 10-7 round because he just took too many punches. That flurry at the end of the round was devastating, except he didn't go down.
That nose is going to be a little sore for Chris Wheatley. Jamie Reinhardt in the black trunks. Wheatley in the red and yellow. We're in round 2. Live boxing action here on ESPN2.
Wheatley has not figured out how to get inside that left jab. His punches, when he throws them, it's like a 50-50 shot. If I catch him, I catch him.
And his record shows it, coming in at 1-2. Well, Jamie Reinhardt's career has been slightly less. He's 1-0 at this point. Fistbacks. Reinhardt landing all the punches of consequence, save for one left hand from Wheatley.
At least Reinhardt has remained calm. He's doing what he has to do. He now has tape on his shoelaces so they won't come apart.
Reinhardt from Kingsport, Tennessee, just up the highway. So he has big fan support here at the Bristol Sports Arena.
Now, Wheatley landed a solid right hand, and nothing happened. I don't think his punches are hurting him. I had Reinhardt, I gave him a 10-7 round. I thought Reinhardt dominated. I thought he dominated that round.
It was 10-7. I saw your scorecard.
Thank you, thank you. The funny thing about Wheatley, he's fighting one punch at a time. He's hoping to throw one punch, land it, and then rush in. But he's getting caught like right there.
Once again, Wheatley goes to that bent over position.
I mean, see, he should be stopping it. When you're in that kind of pain, something's wrong.
Standing 8 count for Wheatley. Says he wants to continue. I don't think he's taken that many body blows, but he's bent over as though he's been taking shots to the ribs.
The punches hurt. That's all it is.
He comes back with a right hand. Wheatley has a chance in this fight, I think, if he can keep connecting, but he is so wild.
I mean, like you said earlier, his head's down. He's hoping he hits a target. If Reinhardt just moves, he misses him, and then he nails him. Now, that punch hurt to the body. That was a solid body shot.
Wheatley is down. Reinhardt to the neutral corner. And it'll be another standing 8 count for Chris Wheatley.
I think that's about enough, Bob. I think Wheatley's not going to do anything here.
Referee Gary Hebert allows it to continue, and Wheatley comes back with another flurry, punching wildly again. But he's landed a couple.
But he's taking tremendous punishment to land those few punches that don't seem to have an effect on Jamie Reinhardt.
Down to the end of the round. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Bristol Sports Arena. From the precision of Ricky Wall, we have gone to a shotgun approach to boxing.
So you look at him, he's just trying to get those punches in. Wheatley's getting tattooed just trying to land his punches, and it worries me because the look on his face is telling me he's taking tremendous body shots, tremendous punishment. It's too much to ask. He may get lucky and catch him, but he's taking a tremendous beating right now.
Chris Wheatley in the red and yellow trunks, Jamie Reinhardt in the black trunks. Reinhardt just picking his spots.
I think Wheatley, when he gets back into the gym, if he's going to keep with this sport, he needs to work on his defense and work on a left jab. I think this is about enough.
It's becoming a pretty sorry spectacle, I must say. Another 8 count for Wheatley.
That's 5 so far. He's obviously overmatched. There's no reason to continue. Thank you.
And that's it. Referee Gary Hebert says that is enough, and mercifully so. Some desperate punching from Chris Wheatley. Not enough to stop the advance of Jamie Reinhardt. 48 seconds into the 3rd round. Jamie Reinhardt improves his record to 2-0, while Chris Wheatley will fall to 1-3. Our ring announcer, Thomas Treiber, is now ready with the scores.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the official time of 48 seconds of the 3rd round. Referee Gary Hebert stops this contest with your winner by technical knockout, Jamie Reinhardt.
Congratulations to Jamie Reinhardt, a game fighter in Chris Wheatley, but lacking in style. Here's Tony.
Jamie, were you wondering what was taking so long? What was keeping this guy up?
He was just tough. I didn't have a good show, and he's got a heart of steel, and that's all it was. He very hard to do anything with.
It seems a couple of times he landed on you with some wild right hands. Did he hurt you at all?
Well, I knew it was coming, and just didn't prepare well enough for getting out of the way of them. Yeah, they were stout. Mean shots.
You think he has some potential?
Well, if he would settle down a little bit and get in better shape, because he's very tough.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Let's go back down the ringside and Bob Varsha.
All right, thank you, Tony. The World Boxing Federation is truly that, with title fights going on year-round in all areas of the globe. Earlier today, Ted Jones had the opportunity to talk with WBF President Ron Scalf about the international program of the WBF.
Well, Bob, this time I'm in the training room here at the Bristol Boxing Arena. You know, another one of the rooms they have. This is where a lot of the boxers actually train. They can warm up for the fights before they go out into the actual ring. And, of course, this is WBF President Ron Scalf we visited with before. Ron, the WBF actually has more fights and championship events overseas than they do here in the continental U.S.
Ted, that's right. The next 60 days, we're going to be in Thailand, Brazil. We're going to be in Europe, Canada, Mexico. Things are really going hot for us overseas.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, if you had to pick out one boxer that you feel has the best future that's a WBF champion, who would that be?
I think that would be Jesus Chong from Mexico City, our bantamweight champion. He's also ranked number 3 by the WBC. We look for some promising things out of him. And also Samson Elite Gym, who's from Thailand. Brings in about 16,000 people when he fights on our show.
Now the big question, will we ever get to see him here on ESPN2?
I would think that you will. You know, as we talk, things get along internationally, we're probably going to do some things with you also. You might be watching at home, but remember those names, Samson Elite Gym and Jesus Chong.
Wow, like the man said, remember those names. Back to you, Bob.
All right, thank you, Ted. Our ring announcer, Thomas Treiber, is ready. Oh, we're still waiting for our next pair of contestants. A lull of the action here at Bristol Sports Arena. Now let's talk a little bit about the rules of our fights this evening.
Earlier when we had the vacant Cruiserweight Championship, the rules are each round is 3 minutes with a 1-minute rest. Scoring is on a 10-point must system, means the winner of a round gets 10, the loser gets 9 or less. I was a little liberal. I went 10-7 on a couple of rounds when a guy is getting tattooed. Scoring is done by 3 judges. In the old days, it would be 2 judges and a referee. That's changed a bit over the last couple of years. It's always the judges do the scoring and the referee just controls the action in there. As you can see, point 4, the referee does not score the bout. 5, standing 8 count is in effect. If a guy is getting beat up and it looks like he's just taking too many punches but hasn't gone down, they will give him a break, but in a sense it is counted as a knockdown. And Rule 6, the 3 knockdown rules in effect. If you get knocked down 3 times in a championship bout, or as it says, the Boxing Federation rules, that fight is stopped. And now let's go back to Bob Varsha.
All right, thank you, Tony. I'm with Johnny Robertson, one of the judges of tonight's fights. Johnny, explain to us a little bit about how you score a fight, what you're looking for in the ring.
Well, we're looking for aggressiveness and clean punching, clean hitting, the ringmanship, mostly.
And when you see a fighter like a Ricky Wall in there, who is so classy, shows such great skills, such great style, followed by a fight such as the one we just saw between Reinhardt and Wheatley, do the judges have to change their approach?
Yes, on the Walls kid, a very sharp puncher and very powerful puncher, and he had a powerful opponent. The other two boys, it was hard to kind of score because we couldn't tell it was clean punching or not.
How would you assess the action that you've watched tonight?
They have strong punching. We don't have to. We're not having to judge very much tonight. It's mostly TKOs and knockouts.
What is the impression of the judges on that very issue? It's often said that you go to a baseball game, nobody goes to watch the umpires in action. I assume fight fans don't necessarily come here to watch the ring judges at work. Do you think the fight fan prefers to watch a knockout?
Oh, sure. It's very hard to judge fights because you have all these people here. Everyone has their own opinion. You watch one fighter instead of the other fighter, well, you're going to mostly go for him. And so you have to watch both fighters when you judge.
You consider yourself a fight fan?
Oh, yes. Been one for years.
All right, Johnny Robertson, one of our judges tonight. Thank you very much. We'll take a quick timeout and return for more live fight action from the Bristol Sports Arena. Another bout coming your way shortly here on ESPN2. Stay with us. Back live at the Bristol Sports Arena in Bristol, Tennessee. Bob Barsh and Tony Page with you on what has been an interesting and dramatic evening of boxing. On the subject of boxing, Ted Jones spoke with Ron Scalf, the president of the WBF. Here's more of that conversation.
Bob, I'm back here in the training room once again with Ron Scalf, president of the WBF. And Ron, everybody would be interested as president of a major sanctioning body in your opinion about Mike Tyson coming back into the fight game.
Well, Ted, I think it's great Mike Tyson's back, but he's going to have to step up to the level that we're accustomed to. Fighting the Buster Mathis Jr. fight is not the way for Mike Tyson to go on pay-per-view or off pay-per-view. I can't wait till he fights somebody like a Riddick Bowe or even a Mark Carrier someday. Would be a great matchup, who's from right here in Bristol, Tennessee.
Now, speaking of Mark Carrier, when we're going to see him again here on ESPN2?
Well, we're real busy with all of the businesses that Larry Carrier's involved, so I think you're going to probably see him in a few months to come. And by the way, Adlison Rodriguez won our heavyweight title in Sao Paulo, Brazil against Johnny Nelson, who's from England and is a name that a lot of people will recognize in boxing.
Now, Johnny Nelson, I believe he's trained by Angelo Dundee?
Adlison Rodriguez is trained by Angelo Dundee, who was one of the first people to join the World Boxing Federation. Great friend of ours, and we're just real pleased to have Angelo now as a manager of one of our champions.
So now the WBF has a new heavyweight world champion.
Adlison Rodriguez, you'll remember, he's 62-2. He lost one fight to George Foreman. He's a big draw in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and a big draw, really, when you recognize that name in boxing. So we hope to see maybe even him fight Mike Tyson.
I was just going to ask you, let's go back to Tyson. Ever a chance he might fight for the WBF crown?
Well, we've asked them to take a look at a proposal that we've sent to Don King for him to fight Adlison Rodriguez. I think it'd be a great matchup. 62-2 is a lot better than the guy that he's going to fight next in Las Vegas.
I think it would be neat to have Iron Mike on the hit list here on ESPN2. How about that, Bob?
I'm with you there, Ted. Tony Page, you were at the recent press conference involving Mike Tyson's next fight.
It will be on Fox TV. It'll be free, and it might still go 89 seconds.
As a veteran boxing journalist, your impressions of the McNeely disaster?
Well, I don't know why everyone was so upset. Everyone told the public that it was going to be a dog of a fight, and that's what it was. I don't care that Peter McNeely ran out against the ring. He showed no skills. He showed no talent, and I think his corner did the right thing in stopping it because he would have got hurt. I think fighting Buster Mathis Jr., Buster is a nice guy. He is 2 levels below fighting Mike Tyson. When he fought Riddick Bowe, it was a disqualification, but he got whacked out when he went down on one knee. Tyson could take him out in less than a round.
Well, we'll all see now that it's on free TV. Now let's turn to the videotape of some of the action we've seen earlier in the evening. This was the Chris Wheatley fight with Jamie Reinhardt.
As Reinhardt said, Wheatley needs to go back in the gym and just work on a little bit of the techniques. And when you're hoping to hit a home run just by throwing a punch, you always get tattooed in the meantime, and this is what happened to him.
Your impressions of Jamie Reinhardt at 6'0", 143. Does he need to bulk up, maybe move up in weight?
Another Hitman Hearns, maybe. He's very lanky. He has that European style. If he would just bend at the waist a little bit and throw that jab, I'd like to see him fight somebody his own size with a jab coming at him for a change.
Jamie Reinhardt, the winner. We are ready for our next bite as we continue with live action. It'll be Steve Bloomfield and Andy Cornett. Up in the ring, here's our announcer, Thomas Treiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the Bristol Sports Arena in Bristol, Tennessee, we continue with 4 rounds in the lightweight division. Your referee in charge of the action is Wayne Stoffel. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the solid black trunks and weighed in at 136 pounds. Making his professional debut, he hails from Cincinnati, Ohio. Here's Steve Bloomfield. And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent fighting directly across from him out of the blue corner. He's wearing the white trunks trimmed in black and weighed in at 136 pounds. He's undefeated with 2 victories and hails from Bloomfield, Tennessee. Here's Andy Cornett. Once again, here's your referee, Wayne Stoffel, with the instructions.
Okay, man, we'll give you instruction in the dressing room. Y'all obey my commands at all times. Touch gloves. Okay, here we go.
Now that should be an interesting match. Andy Cornett is a left-hander, the first one we've seen tonight.
He has a hard look about him. He's ready for action.
5'9", 136 pounds. Steve Bloomfield slightly shorter, but also weighs in at 136.
Now, Bloomfield is an orthodox fighter, but he told me he will change up depending on what the other guy does. So now we have 2 southpaws going at each other.
And very warily.
Feeling out is the word right here. But in this situation, when you're feeling each other out, you throw a jab to see what happens. Can you reach him? Does the guy come back with something?
Cornett, more of the stand-up fighter. Now the punches begin to fly.
Body punches always do damage because they slow you down. If not in the first round, the later round. This is a 4-rounder, but these punches can lead to bringing your guard down and getting hit to the head.
Good point. A 4-round fight doesn't leave an awful lot of time to score your points.
Just a calling card. You tattoo the ribs a little bit, then go back up to the head.
I heard Johnny Robertson say that's what the judges are looking for. Aggression, accuracy. Bloomfield backpedaling there.
And he went down.
Doesn't appear he was hurt.
I thought he was setting a trap for him the way he got tagged. He just kind of went back with his hands down. That's an old trick. Then he followed up real quick.
So the early advantage to Andy Cornett, and now Bloomfield is down seriously.
Right on the button. I think he's going to get up, but I don't know how much more he can go on.
This time he looks a little more glassy-eyed than he did after that initial. Oh, and Andy Cornett immediately on the offensive. Bloomfield is going to have to punch back. End of the round. Bloomfield lucky to escape that one. We'll be back to Bristol, Tennessee after this.
Number 2, scheduled for 4 rounds.
We are back live in Bristol, Tennessee, where something very interesting just happened, Tony.
As he tattoos his opponent and drops him, seems that Mr. Cornett was fighting with his contact lenses in, and we thought they were picking up a tooth, but it was a contact lens.
Wayne Stoffel, the referee, asked Cornett's corner to come and get it. It was a contact lens. He told Stoffel that he's okay without it.
That's
like
nice
you,
to know.
I'm surprised he had it in. And once again, Bloomfield goes down to the body punch.
I think that's about it for this one. He's a little bit outclassed and a little bit out.
A lot out from the look of it. And that is all. I think Dr. Daniel Paul will be asked into the ring to attend to Steve Bloomfield. 35 seconds into the second round. We have had lots of early endings to our fights tonight. Bloomfield, as you see, still down now. He begins to react. Cornerman watching over him. Let's take another look at that punch. Bloomfield chose to stay low. Cornett dodged the right hand. And then the big right uppercut. And that was it for Bloomfield. I didn't think the punch caused him squarely on the chin, but apparently it did. I thought it was a body punch. But Bloomfield is now up. So obviously in pain. Here comes the bad news from Thomas Treiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the official time of 35 seconds of the second round with your winner by way of knockout, Andy Cornett.
Andy Cornett now runs his record to 3-0, and Tony is with him.
Andy, a little bit of power in there tonight.
Yeah, I felt pretty good. I felt strong.
Now, what were they picking up? What did you lose? I thought it was a tooth.
Oh, it's a contact lens. I forgot to take it out before the fight, and well, he took it out for me. So
just one or two?
I forgot to take out one of them. I don't have perfect vision, but I don't have bad vision either. So I forgot to take it out. And
you'll remember next time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the fight. It seems like you were trying to feel each other out in the beginning, and then your punches seemed to wear him down.
Well, he came out there, and it looked like he come out like our left hand and then switched to right hand, and I didn't know what he was doing and everything, and he threw a few good shots there, and I had to give him a little respect for his power, and then eventually, though, they say it was the body punch. I believe the body punch has got to him.
You just warmed down.
Yeah, it took the wind out of him, but it was a good victory.
All right, man, thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
We'll go back down the ringside, and hopefully we won't step on any more contact lenses. Bob?
Watch your feet. Andy Cornett runs his record to 3-0, sounding more like a stock car driver than a prize fighter. Nevertheless, he picks up the victory with the knockout. It has been an interesting evening of live boxing here on ESPN2. We won't have time for another bout before our allotted time runs out. Here is another look at some of the trials and tribulations of Steve Bloomfield.
He just got caught and down he went. Did not have the skill level to compete, but I have to admit, I have never heard of a fighter forget to take his contact out. That's we're making light of it, but that's dangerous.
Absolutely.
If you get hit the wrong way, it can slice your eye, and that's. Now here he is. He was just waiting, trying to measure him. He caught him with the uppercut, caught him right on the button, and down he went. He's got some skills, but again, you can measure a guy by the opponent he fights. This guy was a little underclass, but you got to hope that if he puts him in with some talented fighters, you see what happens. He might step up.
Interesting ending to a diverse evening of live boxing here on ESPN2. We want to tell you about upcoming WBF events around the world. We talked about it earlier, the mini flyweight battle between Pansawang and Magramo in Manila in the Philippines. Magramo recently had a big victory over a reigning champion, so that will be an important event for the WBF. In the junior flyweight division, Jesus Chong will take on...
Go ahead, Bob.
Watching at home, I'm sure you can tell that it is difficult to pronounce the names of some of these fighters. Honyang Orati Jim. Good name for a fighter, actually. That will be in Bangkok, Thailand. A welterweight battle in Medan, Indonesia between Milyam Magahin and Suito Lagola. And a super welterweight fight also in Indonesia between Nico Torin and Kevin Kelly. We mentioned earlier that the WBF has worldwide operations, and they are particularly strong in the Far East, where a man named Jack Rennie, who has been a part of the professional boxing scene for a long, long time, operates out of Australia and has organized the WBF program. Also, junior welterweight and junior bantamweight fights coming up on the WBF agenda. And you'll be hearing more as time goes by. We'll take a break and be back to start wrapping things up after an interesting night of boxing live from the Bristol Sports Arena in Bristol, Tennessee. Stand by for more. Back live at the Bristol Sports Arena, where we are just about out of our available time. We will not be able to bring you another bout. That's what happens in live television programming. I'm Bob Barsha, along with Tony Page of the Boxing Writers Association of America. An interesting evening of boxing, and pretty much characteristic of what we've seen thus far in this debut season for the WBF on ESPN2.
I was impressed. We had some good fights tonight. You know me. I'm going to talk about Ricky Wall. And no, I don't own a piece of Ricky Wall, but he's a young, good fighter to watch. He's only 8-1, but he seems like he's 30-1. He's learned his craft at a young age. Chavez Francisco, he has good talent too. So when you can knock a guy out with one hand after the other hand has been hurt, he's got a little potential.
Let me put you in the position of a fight manager. Now, the WBF, a lot of fighters that people may not have heard of before. How would you take a fighter like Ricky Wall? How would you direct his future?
I think don't rush him. Just let him learn his craft. Eventually, you want to get him in with a guy that he can't knock out, so he has to go 10 rounds. That gets that under his belt and helps his confidence. Then you try with different styles. There's no need to rush him. I mean, sure, he could be a champion, maybe fighting somebody who has no talent, but this kid has a long-term career in the sport, and you don't want to burn him out. Just take his time. He's got a long career, and you don't want him fighting the wrong guy for the wrong amount of money and getting knocked out.
Keep in mind, Ricky Wall has a day job. He is a law enforcement officer just up the highway in Pulaski, Virginia, dedicated to his craft. And I agree with you. He's got a big future. Now, let's not let Ricky Wall's fight obscure the fact we had a WBF title bout that ended in a technical knockout, and here it was.
It was just a matter of watching guys. Ellingburg, who knocked out Snyder because he opened up a big cut, he just kept his distance. He kept pouring on the punches. He never let the guy get inside. In fact, he took the fight out of Snyder very early in the bout.
In fact, Holsey Ellingburg said tonight was a fight that would open a lot of doors for him. He meant to win it, and he came in and absolutely dominated a very tough fighter in Jay Snyder.
You're supposed to beat a guy when you have the advantage. He's tall. He has a good jab. Snyder's whole arsenal, even with 17 knockouts, was to just get inside. He couldn't get outside. You could just see him freezing and stopping and saying, how am I going to get in this? Next thing you know, he's hit.
Can't throw a knockout punch when you're on the defensive constantly. Jay Snyder's undefeated record is now blemished. He is 18-1, and he will remember this night for a long, long time. We'll be back live to Bristol, Tennessee in just a moment. Stay right there. Back live at the Bristol Sports Arena. Bob Barsha and Tony Page with you. 6 bouts tonight live here on ESPN2. Only our first bout actually went the distance. A unanimous decision for Kenny Smith over Ishmael Muhammad. A couple of TKOs, a big knockout or two. All in all, a pretty interesting evening.
I think the fans got their money's worth. You want to see competitive fights. You don't want to see guys get knocked out or who just don't have it. But we saw a lot of young talent. We saw guys who were trying to work at their craft. You know, you wonder, what do we need with another boxing organization? Well, maybe this organization will learn from the mistakes that the other ones did and get behind the fighters and let the fighters develop so, hey, fans might come back to the sport.
Well, the WBF was founded as a low-cost alternative both to the fighters and to the promoters, and I think they're succeeding in that mission. We'll be back to wrap things up from Bristol, Tennessee in a moment. That's it this evening from Bristol Sports Arena. Bob Barsha along with Tony Page. We hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. In fact, if you have, write us and tell us. ESPN2 motel accommodations courtesy of O'Connell Lodge Medical Center, Bristol, Tennessee. So long from Bristol. We'll see you next time.